Thanks for joining me. Thanks for taking a few minutes here. It's been a real pleasure working with you and the entire team at Mirman on this really important search. Excited to dive into that. But before we do, just give folks a little bit of an insight into your background and what drew you to the school.
Sure, thank you. It's a delight to be working with the 12M team, and I'm entering my sixth year at Mirman, and I was the CFO at another independent school for 8 years before that. Mirman is an incredibly welcoming community to invoke the show Cheers is kind of where everybody knows your name. And so how can it feel bad, to come in and a beautiful setting in the Santa Monica Mountains? You actually don't even feel like you work in the city of Los Angeles, and you are working with some of the brightest and talented colleagues and students, grades K through 8, and it's just a delight to hear the stories and the things that they ask you. And even though we are in staff roles, you do get to interact with the students and with the faculty, which is a very special thing about being in an environment like this.
No, that's great. And we had a chance to be in your environment about a month ago and walk the grounds and see the school. What a fantastic campus and indeed vibrant, dynamic community. Give people who are watching who have no sense of Merman's mission and what that means to live out on a daily basis, how that translates into the culture, the community, and just what it's like as you're serving gifted students and you're just working in this very innovative, dynamic environment. A little bit about the culture, the mission, the community.
Sure, happy to. So Merman's mission is to cultivate the boundless potential of highly gifted children, nurture their passions and talents, and develop a diverse community of creative and constructive lifelong learners. And you may see other schools' missions sound like that and look like that, but this is a special population of children that need what Mirman is offering in order to be set up to be successful in life. And the population that we serve at Mirman is a very small sliver on the scale of giftedness. There are several levels of giftedness which people don't realize, and the higher levels of giftedness beyond Merman's population can be students and people, that have challenges on the spectrum. Merman, that's not Merman's population. Merman's population is that group that needs just that extra touch, and it's very specialized in certain areas. For example, we may have a student at a very young age who's able to do calculus or physics, but that same student may not be able to write a sentence or engage in this kind of conversation that we're having, Gabe. By the time they leave Merman, whether that's in sixth, seventh, or eighth grade, they can do those things. And those are the essential things that set somebody up for their future. We love the fact that we never know which 5-year-old, 7-year-old, or 9-year-old we may be having a conversation with that later will be, an industry leader, a Fortune 500 CEO, a senator, and Lord knows our world needs a different crop of leadership by the time these students inherit the mantle and take over. So you feel very like you're doing a higher calling work when you're doing what we do in this environment in terms of trying to set the world up to be better, down the road.
No, it's a great point. And now let's turn the page to the adults who are working there, who are there to live out or to bring that mission to life, and how that connects to this role here. I would imagine recruiting and just thinking about human resources from all angles is just so critical at Mirman. Can you give a little insight into just some key priorities, or what for you is this an essential element to help connect human resources to the mission you just described?
Yeah, I think that you raise an essential question, Gabe, and I know that, people have debated, including at Merman, whether this is a human resources or a people operations type function, but particularly in independent school and in education in general, your main product is your people. It is the teachers. The instruments they use, the tools, the materials are supportive, but at the end of the day, the main thing that you are selling or the main thing that parents are selecting is the quality of the teachers and the educators and the quality of the staff that support those people. So I like to think of it as human resources is the very first impression anybody has about the institution. It's also the very last impression a person has because, of course, this role does onboarding and it does offboarding. And then, of course, what it does in between is supportive and additive to what the whole community does, but the culture is everything. And Merman is a very diverse school. It's 2/3 of its students are students of color. Nearly 2/3 of the professional community here, both faculty and staff, are BIPOC. And so you need to be conversant and comfortable in an environment that doesn't just use those words, but actually eats, sleeps, and lives and breathes it. And human resources is sought out when human beings naturally have moments of conflict, challenges that they have to address. And you want somebody, we need somebody in that role as ombudsman who can make a person's question or challenge be important, no matter how minor or how major it may be, and that can maintain everyone who's involved their human dignity throughout the arc of the interaction. Look, at the end of the day, it's human resources, but it's really human relationships, and human relationships often are a process where relationships can be formed, they can be ruptured, and they can be repaired. And this person is the architect, not necessarily uh, totally responsible, but definitely the architect on that repair process and making sure that everybody here continues to feel like this is a place they belong, they are included, and feel that level of safety and comfort in their interactions.
And those interactions, as I understand, are very dynamic, and it's a fast paced but manageable environment. Can you just talk a little bit about that culture of drive and innovation and what that means in terms of somebody who's interacting with and helping to manage a lot of behind the scenes workflow for the adults on campus?
Yeah, great question. Three of our favorite words around here are alacrity, collaboration, and compassion. And the person who's successful in this office of one, it is part of the business office team. And obviously, I am particularly involved in human resources, as is our head of school. But these are the sort of essential comfort levels. We are a smaller school. We are 110 employees, of which 20 are staff. The rest are faculty and people that are working directly with children. And yet, everybody at the school has duties that help the school run. For example, I'm at Carline every afternoon, sort of as the safety director, making sure that everybody gets where they need to be and nobody gets hurt. And a lot of the people on my team, everybody on my team has some level of duties and responsibilities that help the school function. And so you have to be very comfortable sort of being in a chief cook and bottle washer environment. Independent schools in general, and particularly your smaller schools like Mirman, K-8, 430 students, there's no such thing as, no, that's not my job, or no, that's somebody else's job. If something needs to be done and someone needs to do it, anybody who's here has to be comfortable having their name substituted for someone and become that person.
That's outstanding. Uh, And as you think about some priorities or just early projects on the horizon, or conversely, what you're looking for most in a partner to lead HR from the areas of function or just what's going to be on their plate and how you see that fitting into the overall business office or just what you're looking for someone to be ready to specifically dive into. Anything you want to highlight at this juncture?
Yeah, I obviously the threshold is, the three essential categories that or qualities that I just spoke about. But somebody who's looking for a place to put down some roots is a critical component at this particular time. For a variety of factors, Merman has had a succession of people in this function, and the systems and structures that are in place were sort of re-engineered by each person in the seat. So the essential ingredients are there, but there's a big need to, I would say, sort of, top of mind will be to standardize things, to look at what's been done before, to decide what we're going to keep and what we're going to, no longer do, and make sure that the systems and structures are not person dependent. But regardless of who's in the seat, I'm also a big believer, Gabe, in cross training. So everybody on my team is cross trained. There are inevitable times, both happy times when people take time off and unexpected times in life where people are out. We're a small business office team. We are sort of the operational backbone of the school on the staff side, and we can't go down. We have to have uptime. So when people are not here, which is to be expected or can happen, nonetheless, the functions have to get accomplished. So the systems and structures has to be agnostic, have to be easy to follow, have to be something that anybody who has been trained in them or exposed to them knows exactly where to go and follows the system and structure, doesn't sort of become an entrepreneur in that moment and go down a different path.
Final path just to go down, if you will, is the path where the school is headed in the future. And you have a new head of school. There's an accreditation process. Just any high level thoughts for where you see some exciting opportunities on the horizon. Doesn't have to be in HR, but just Merman at large, and what's keeping you really jazzed and energized as you think about the next chapter for Merman.
I think you hit the nail on the head. We have a dynamic new head of school who came to us from another school in Los Angeles, a much larger K-12 school, but somebody who really understands gifted education, gifted students, gifted faculty and staff. A lot of people who work with gifted children are gifted themselves because they get what's needed for that particular population. And so we're coming off of 11 years from our prior head of the most transformative period in the 63-year history of Mirman School. It is, to the good, a radically different place now than when our prior head joined. And that was by design, that was by directive from the Board of Trustees. The things we've achieved around diversity, around new construction of the campus, around the growth of the school, we're a larger school, the professionalization of the school were all achieved in that past decade. And so Dr. Keel's mission with her executive team is to build on that. And there's a lot of exciting things. You mentioned the accreditation self-study that will roll right into an updated strategic plan, which will roll right into an update to our campus master plan. And those are the kinds of things that the team that's here get to be involved with. I would imagine that there will be lots of initiatives as Dr. Keel enters her second and subsequent years. And she is an incredibly thoughtful and collaborative leader that really looks to not only her executive team, but the administrative team and the faculty to make decisions that are mission aligned and that everyone supports, that will advance the school. And at the end of the day, not only are we educating future leaders, but we're ensuring that Mirman is here for its 70th year and its 80th year, and it's an institution that lives on long beyond when any of us sit in these particular seats.
Well, we're looking forward to helping you bring someone to sit into the HR manager seat. It's been a great partnership so far. Thank you so much for sharing a few words today. Very insightful, very thoughtful, and looking forward to working with you on the rest of this search.
Thank you.